All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome on the Speaker Show. Now, for all of you who are just going to be joining us for the first time, I am super excited because I know for sure that we are going to have a good time tonight. All right. So, for some of you who are new, my name is Niniola Fatai, and I'm the host of the Speaker Show. Now, understand something. The Speaker Show is a place of inspiration, motivation, where minds are being liberated through reason and also, most importantly, through other people's story. So tonight, I don't like to talk much whenever we have a guest because I just want us to spend that quality time with them, and we can get something great out of them, so that way, their experience, their knowledge, can be of a great impact in our lives. All right. So I'm going to tell you, I want you to sit down and relax tonight because tonight is going to be great because I have got one of the greatest and the greatest and the greatest doctor right here with me that I'm super excited. He's a role model, he's a leader, he's an entrepreneur, and most importantly, he is a great builder. And then the fact that, he has made a major impact in the life of so many people, has been something very phenomenal and something that actually even inspired me myself, to just want to do more, to want to go extra mile, because when you see a leader, you know that this is really a leader, someone who you can follow. And truly, he's someone, and he's been in the industry, being a medical doctor for quite a long time, and then we're enjoying him here in Canada. See, that's the beautiful thing about him. So I just want us to come tonight and then learn from him, learn from his experience, and then let's see what's out there for us tonight. All right, so everyone, without taking much of our time, so help me welcome my very great friend, Dr. Olumide. Help me welcome him in our midst this evening. All right, everyone, we're gonna go on a short break while we bring him in tonight. All right, so in 1 minute we'll be right back. See you soon. All right. Wow. I am super excited. Look at you. How you doing this beautiful evening?
I'm doing great. I'm doing excellently well.
Wow.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
I'm
You're
not sure I deserve all the accolades.
Oh, first of all, I want to tell you this, that I know you're a very busy person, but the fact that you took the time to be here with us tonight, it is amazing, and I appreciate it so much. I want to say a very huge thank you to you for being here with us tonight. Thank you.
And I'll say thank you as well for the opportunity uh, to share a little bit of my story and spend time with you, and more importantly, to just share the little light that we have.
Amazing.
So that's a privilege that I don't take lightly. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. You see, it's good when a great man is telling you thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Wow. All right. So, there's so much that I want to talk tonight. Okay, that I want to talk about tonight. But, before we get into some of the questions that I have for you, the things that we're going to be talking about, I just want you to give us a little bit of intro. Who are you?
Who am I? Who am I? I think at the end of the day, I'm a nobody that has been given an opportunity to become somebody so that I can help everybody.
Wow.
As simple as that.
Wow. That's very powerful. I love the way you just summarize everything into one word. Wow, that's beautiful. Wow. Okay, that's good. Okay, so, I want you to share with us, because I know you're a doctor, and it's a beautiful thing to actually even have, like, a doctor here in Brentford, that our home person. It's a beautiful thing. But I want you to tell us, like, tonight, like, how did you advent, like, how did you know that was what you wanted to do?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Now, I think mine is a bit of a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people who will tell you that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I've always known from the time I was little that this was what I was going to do and all that. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, the reality was that I expected to be a lawyer because
Wow.
my dad is a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and but along the line, I'll say this: along the line, my mother actually whispered to me that she felt it to be a better idea for me to be a doctor instead. And interestingly, for a young child,
Mm-hmm.
I was someone that was very, very sensitive to the expectations of my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and I was lucky enough to be above average in school,
Mm-hmm.
so that I knew essentially knew I could do most things that I'll set my mind to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I started uh, the journey to become a physician.
Wow.
Really, as simple as that.
Wow.
But I'll tell you this: it was along the journey.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't at the beginning of the journey that I knew
Mm-hmm.
my real purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually along the journey
Mm-hmm.
that the purpose became revealed,
Wow.
for lack of a better word. And I've always been raised to be compassionate, to be humble, to be kind, to be helpful, and medicine fulfills that in so many ways,
Mm.
more ways than one. As you imagine, the responsibility of being a physician, people's lives are in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
People's greatest insecurities, greatest challenges
Mm-hmm.
are brought to your table.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh. I tell my parents that I'm paid to solve problems that I didn't create. Um, uh, I became a pediatrician, and that was actually the best part of the journey for me,
Mm-hmm.
because along the line, while in medical school, and I, I've always been fascinated by children, and it was such a marvel to see how children can transform
Mm.
from when they are desperately sick, and then you help them, they get better.
Mm-hmm.
The switch is
Mm-hmm.
always so beautiful to see,
Mm-hmm.
because children don't pretend. Once
Mm-hmm.
they're well, they're well. If they're
Mm-hmm.
not feeling fine, they don't have any agenda.
That's true.
They're not up to any tricks,
Mm-hmm.
and also they're also so vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing little children, little babies who are sick, and you're able to help them, was something that I found so fulfilling, especially during my year of internship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it was clear to me that pediatrics will be the way forward for me.
Wow.
And that's a little bit of a synopsis of the idea, but so many things that happened along the way. And I'll tell you that I'm a very fortunate person, and I don't take it lightly. And when
Mm-hmm.
I tell you that I'm a nobody that became somebody so that I can help everybody, that's
Mm-hmm.
the absolute truth. I was just a little kid, but I
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate enough to have people who who raised me, who prepared me, who trained me, who showed me the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful to all of those people, especially my parents, my teachers,
Mm-hmm.
mentors, leaders, friends along the way. And I'm a product of of a culmination of the goodwill and investment of so many people
Mm-hmm.
that now gives me an opportunity to stand and call myself somebody.
Mm.
But I'm not somebody for self-aggrandizement. Yes, you say, oh, Dr. So and so. Yes, I'm Dr. Oyefeso, and there may be some respect that comes with that. But the real truth is that it's a place of responsibility.
Absolutely.
And that responsibility is one that I take very seriously,
Hmm.
and it's part of my service to the world, if you want
Hmm.
to put it that way.
Amazing, amazing. Listening to you is just more. It's just more like, it's not about even being the doctor itself, but just the fact that the ability to serve others, and I think that's one of the greatest thing that anyone could have, because when you are at a place that you just do the service to the people, I think it's one of the most incredible thing that anyone could ever do. So wow. So thank you for being a doctor, for taking care of us. Wow, that's good. You know, do you ever, like, does it ever occur to you to follow the same way with your children?
When you say the same way,
The same way, in the sense that, the way your mom came to you and said, this is what I want you to do, right? And in this time, people are gonna be like, no, dad, I don't want to do that. No, 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 I don't like. How is that like for you?
so the yeah, it's an interesting question, because there are so many people wonder about, oh, do we want to force children to do something and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely no need to force anyone,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really about guiding them.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, based on social learning theory,
Mm-hmm.
we imbibe a lot of things from our social environment.
Mm-hmm.
So my children, for example,
Mm-hmm.
um, are very privileged. I tell them in more ways than one, because they have parents who care about them.
Mm-hmm.
They have parents who have been raised fairly well
Mm-hmm.
and who can guide them on the journey of life.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that even though they are my children,
Mm-hmm.
they're actually not my children. They don't
Hmm.
belong to me.
Hmm.
So my children are not a piece of property. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have that kind of ownership of them.
Hmm.
What I have is stewardship of them. So I have a responsibility as
Mm-hmm.
a father.
Mm-hmm.
Their mother has a responsibility as a mother. Both
Mm-hmm.
of us as a team
Mm-hmm.
to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
What many people don't realize is this, is that a family, a
Mm-hmm.
family is a factory that creates individuals for society.
Hmm.
A family is a factory that
Mm-hmm.
creates individuals for society. So that these children that we have,
Mm-hmm.
we're preparing them for
Mm-hmm.
society, and we'll give them an opportunity to be better human beings than we were,
Mm-hmm.
for them to be more successful than we were.
Yes.
So, along the line, the framework
Mm-hmm.
is to lay the founding blocks
Mm-hmm.
so that ultimately they can now engage society, preparing them for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's important is regarding what their vocation is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of job are you going to do?
Yeah.
But really, the reality is that you mentioned service, right? I believe fundamentally there are only two things important
Mm-hmm.
about me,
Mm-hmm.
and there are only two assignments that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Only two.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is to love,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is to serve.
Amazing.
It's as simple as that, to love
Amazing.
and to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will raise our children
Mm-hmm.
so they can love and serve.
Mm-hmm.
But how do they serve? So they want to serve, we will encourage them to find a way to serve in a meaningful way.
Yes.
Of course, we live in a world where we need to earn money, we need to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a certain leverage that you have if you have a vocation that
Mm-hmm.
has a higher reward.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher reward is just relevant so that you can meet your needs in life.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay your bills
Yeah.
and provide for yourself. But the ultimate goal is for you to serve humanity. There
Mm-hmm.
has to be a problem that humanity has that you are there to solve.
Mm-hmm.
That is your function. your
Mhm.
essence as a human being.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. So in through that framework is now we get to, okay, what kind of profession, what kind of job, and
Mhm.
things like that. And when the foundation is right, the children will choose right.
Absolutely. I agree with you because it just kind of made me remember, like, my parents, for example, like, they didn't force to do what they do, because they're business individuals. So they didn't force anyone, like, you got to do business, you got to, like, be a doctor, be a lawyer. They just kind of have that open mind and open floor that, just be whatever you want to be. So I could relate with what you're saying. And I think that is very powerful. And then, as a parent, if we can keep that open mind, I think it's something really wonderful to do. Wow. All right. So we're gonna get in, and then I'm gonna be asking you some more questions, and then especially regarding the title so turning your dream into reality.
Mm,
You're an example of that, you
mm,
know. And one thing that I love most out of the things that you've said is the fact that you mentioned that you didn't discover the purpose at the beginning, but you discovered it along the way. A lot of people struggle with that.
mm.
They feel that at the beginning, that's where they need to know what their purpose is so they can walk in line with it, so they can walk into it. And I'm always in this kind of perspective that sometimes you don't have to walk into it. You can do the things that you're doing, and then along the way, like, you get the best out of yourself, and certainly that, okay, this is really what I want to do, and that's really where I want to go. You understand what I'm saying? So now, turning your dream into a reality, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think part of the challenge we have in life is that we create this romantic thoughts and ideas about who we are and
Hmm.
what life is meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a Romeo and Juliet fairy tale kind of
Mm-hmm.
scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, oftentimes life is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, purpose is an amazing word, and it's a word that I'm very passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So, purpose creates passion.
Yes.
Also, if purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable.
Hmm. Okay.
If purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
If I pick, if I were to pick a toothbrush
Mm-hmm.
without knowing what it was for,
Mm-hmm.
I could decide to use it to scrub my back.
Mm-hmm.
A little kid could decide to use it as a toy to play with,
Mm-hmm.
but the toothbrush would not be meeting its real function or purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The toothbrush was designed to brush the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So, as human beings, there's a purpose that you have.
Mm-hmm.
What is your purpose as a human being? Very, very simple:
Mm-hmm.
to love and to serve. To love and to serve. That's your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Then the question now becomes, how do you love?
Mm-hmm.
How do you serve? In
Mm-hmm.
what capacity? In what framework? In what
Mm-hmm.
environment? Then that becomes, there's a level of variance to that from one
Mm-hmm.
person to the next.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't believe that I can only do one thing. I don't believe that the only thing I could have done was become a doctor. I don't believe that.
Hmm.
I believe that there are a certain group of things
Mm-hmm.
that may fit with my personality.
Mm-hmm.
But the ultimate relevance of whatever I choose to do
Mm-hmm.
is to serve. For example, let's say I were to become a fashion designer.
Mhm.
and I make clothes, and which is a lovely thing to do.
Mhm.
If you look at it on a larger scale, a fashion designer is making clothes. Why are they making clothes? They're solving the problem of nudity.
Mhm.
It's an important problem to solve.
Yes.
Now, I can have someone, I could work as a janitor in the hospital.
Mhm.
The janitor in the hospital does not have the same quote unquote appreciation or perhaps relevance as a doctor or a nurse
Mhm.
based on the human perception.
Mhm.
But the reality is that the janitor is an essential part
Yes.
of the hospital.
Yes.
Because if the janitor does not do the work of keeping the hospital clean, people cannot be catered for in the hospital. They can't be cared for. The
Mhm.
hospital uh, will be unclean, unsanitary,
Mhm.
and people who are sick will even become sicker.
Mhm.
So the janitor is not just cleaning, is not just a cleaner.
Mhm.
The janitor is an essential contributor to healthcare.
Mhm.
So imagine a janitor fully understanding of that every day
Mhm.
he or she goes to work,
Mhm.
that they are contributing to the health of individuals.
Mhm.
When they say there's dignity of labor, unfortunately, in our world, there may be someone who will look down a janitor and think it's a lowly job.
Mhm.
But that is wrong. It's an important job.
Mhm.
It's a relevant job.
Mhm.
And and at the end of the day, that person has a unique purpose.
Yes.
So as for every person, it is important to understand your
Mm.
your role as part of the whole.
Mm.
Understand your role as part of the whole. And what is the whole? The whole is humanity.
Mhm.
Now, I'm wearing a white coat today intentionally, and I'm wearing this blue cap intentionally. Okay. Now, this white coat and this blue hat are a reflection of the story of my identity. So, I am a black man in a white coat. And one of the reasons why I'm wearing this is because as I sit down in this chair and we have this conversation, can you believe that tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now,
Mhm.
a little 12-year-old black boy
Mhm.
or 10-year-old boy
Mhm.
could come across this video? A
Mhm.
parent or could tell their kid, oh, come see this guy.
Mhm.
He's a doctor. He's a black man, he's a doctor.
Mhm.
You can be a doctor as well.
Yes.
There's a representation of that.
Yes.
That is part of my purpose. Part of my purpose as a black man in a white coat is to inspire other little black boys and girls that yes, you can be a doctor.
Amazing.
Now, interestingly, there's a group of there's a man who started a movement in the US called Black Men in White Coats.
Mhm.
Very interesting. And part of what they saw was that black physicians,
Mhm.
or rather, let me put this way, black men,
Mhm.
black male physicians
Mhm.
were only 2% of the physician population in America.
Mhm.
That of all the doctors in America that are black men, they were only 2%. 2%.
Mm.
Part of what they did during their study and research was that the level of enrollment
Mhm.
of black men in medical school.
Mhm.
So there was a time in 2014, there were 100 black men, okay? Or let me put it this way. There were the number of black men who enrolled for medical school in
Mhm.
2014 were 100, less than the number that enrolled in 1978.
Hmm. Wow.
In 2014, the number of black men that enrolled in medical school were 100 less than the number in 1978.
Wow.
Now, so part of my purpose, and this is when you say as part of the whole, as you and I know, the history of blackness, we have been abused, relegated in more ways than one. Now we're in North America, we're in Canada. I used to live and practice in the US as well, and I traversed both areas. But there was a time in North America that a man like me would be a slave.
Yes.
My greatest relevance was to be a slave. I wouldn't even carry a name of my own. You carry a name of a slave owner. And then you know what I found interesting also was that there was a time, so for many of us Nigerian men and all that, big, strong, and all that. So the slave owner would how do they say it now? He would farm you out to other plantations so that you can service other women in order to create more strong black slaves. They will move them from plantation to plantation. So he didn't even have an opportunity to have a steady, consistent relationship with one woman. Move from place to place, which is part of the reality and the sadness of what happened to black people in North America way back then. But guess what? Many men and women fought, died in order to change that reality. And those people, they are also partly the reason why OLUMIDE Oyefeso can stand in North America and call himself a doctor. People paid a price for us to be here and stand here. So it's not just about my dream. The dream is beyond me. There is a black dream that in this world, in this life, we will have a seat at the table. We were meant to be here. We belong here. We deserve every human dignity. And no one should attempt to toy or steal our dignity. And in the things that we do, we should strive to promote black excellence. So for me, I am also an ambassador of blackness as part of our collective dream. So, because I had the opportunity to stand on the shoulders of giants, if I were to become a giant, I only have one responsibility. My shoulders must be busy for other people to stand on.
Amazing.
That is my purpose.
Wow. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Honestly. If people can actually see their world like that, I think the world is going to be a better place.
I think so too.
It's going to be a better place. Because what you said is so wonderful that it takes someone with a really deep understanding and a really deep thinker, do you understand, to actually understand what others have done. You doing the same for others. But the sad thing is that as good as that is, many people will tell you that, because they forget about the person that helped them. and they run about their whole life, and and their shoulder for you, like the way you explained it, or maybe not even that, but like they just care about themselves alone, and it's just them alone, right? And it's sad that that's the world we're in, but like just like I said, if people can think in a different way, that will make the world a better place.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think some of us sometimes we get caught in arrested development.
Hmm.
And personally, I believe in the law of progressive revelation, in the sense that I might not understand some things today,
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully I might understand tomorrow. I might understand a few years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes, people are in different stages of their development.
Mm-hmm.
And also sometimes it's also depending on how the nature of your environment, the nature of what you saw around you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's I laugh sometimes. We have the iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
iPad,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's I. It's almost like generation I. It's like I.
Mm-hmm.
But you remember, as little kids,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we tell little kids when they're younger, you say, "Oh, you need to share." We teach people to share,
Mm-hmm.
so that in reality, we were taught to share as kids.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to continue sharing
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Our capacity
Mm-hmm.
and intent to share
Mm-hmm.
should increase as we grow older.
Mm-hmm.
Now, life sometimes can confuse us.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you ask someone, say, "Man, what's your dream?" Say, "Man, I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to be this." And then the question is, for what purpose?
Mm-hmm.
For your entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
I tell some of my friends, it's so funny. When we were younger,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have anything. We had no money and all that. But we will eat like crazy. We will eat. I remember that growing up in Nigeria, they had this like this one loaf of agege bread. And I will eat the whole loaf of agege bread without a care in the world. I couldn't do that now. There's no way I can do that now. Now, if we're to eat 2 slices of bread, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that's
That's
okay. Then if I want
it.
to maybe splurge, I
Mm-hmm.
can have a third.
Mm-hmm.
But the real truth is that I can't eat the way I used to eat when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
because if I did that, it will hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
I will become overweight and have other health problems and all that. So now that I can eat anything I want,
Mm-hmm.
I am automatically, intentionally
Mm-hmm.
rationing food for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I find that so ironical, because the reality is that you were never meant to consume so much by yourself
Mm-hmm.
of whatever resources you have.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
and you choose to spend it all on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
my belief personally is that you're going to get into what I will call toxic consumption.
Mm-hmm.
You will start to do some really, really foolish things just because you're trying to expend the money. But really, what's the best use of the money? Of course, you can enjoy wealth
Mm-hmm.
to a reasonable extent.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, there's a responsibility that is bestowed on the man of wealth. A responsibility. I read something a long time ago that was attributed to Carnegie.
Mm-hmm.
Carnegie, uh, famous American man, very rich, wealthy man. And he
Mm-hmm.
spoke about the responsibility of the man of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
The responsibility of the man of wealth is to improve the conditions of the people around him.
Mm-hmm.
That's your core responsibility.
Mhm.
That after you've sorted out your needs,
Yeah.
you need to help somebody else.
Mhm.
We're not saying don't enjoy money,
Mhm.
but the real beauty,
He's helping others.
the real beauty to transform lives.
Mhm.
There's nothing more beautiful.
Mhm.
Niniola, have you ever gone to a funeral and you sat there and they spent all the time talking about how rich the person is, or how many cars they had, how many houses they had, how many expensive things they had? I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that.
At your funeral, people will talk about how you made them feel,
Absolutely.
about the impact you had on their lives.
Yes.
We should pay attention to what is said at the funerals
Hmm.
so we can understand how to live.
Hmm.
Personally, I believe that some of the greatest lessons
Mhm.
about life and living
Mhm.
are learned from death and dying.
Mhm.
It's as simple as that.
Wow. Amazing. Wow. See, there's so much that we're learning right here. Eh? All right. So we're gonna go on a quick break and then we're gonna be right back. And I want you to stay tuned. I want you to relax. Okay. This is really amazing. Okay. This is really going great. And then we're gonna have like tons of questions for him. We still have more for him because he's gonna talk more with us. But you know what? We'll be right back in a second. Wow, wow, wow. So we are back. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's been amazing sitting down with Dr. Olumide Oyefeso. Because I know I was expecting that you got to say the last name. All right. So it's been a great time with him. And then we still have 2 3 more questions for him, okay? And then let's learn from him. Like he's very 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 like insightful, like his words, like his experience, which I think is amazing. It's something that each and every one of us, like that we need. All right, so we're gonna get back. Are you doing? You okay?
I'm doing well.
Still ready to shoot? Wow, that's good. That's good. Okay. So my next question for you is this. Have you ever, you know, in the pursuit of living your purpose and then, going after your dream, like have you ever faced any challenges that that kind of make you like want to give up and say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And how did you overcome that?
Hmm. Now, there are so many examples of that kind of reality. And our paths are never a straight line.
Hmm.
Our paths are never a straight line,
That's true.
and sometimes we don't realize that
Hmm.
because oftentimes we're so focused on the destination,
Hmm.
we fail to enjoy the journey. Life is really about the journey,
Yes.
not so much about the destination.
Yes.
It's really the journey. Have you ever had to take a road trip with your little ones and they'll keep asking you, hey, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Mm-hmm.
Because their focus is on the destination.
Yes.
But meanwhile, there's so much they can enjoy about the journey.
Hmm.
as they go along, the things they see, the
Mm-hmm.
sights and sounds, which
Mm-hmm.
is all part of the process.
Yes.
Now, challenges are automatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from a young age, we have to find ways to ensure that children go through challenges,
Mm.
because it's almost like building muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I believe strongly that if you don't face enough difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
you can't succeed as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, we also have to learn how to fail. Failure is actually important.
Mm-hmm.
Failure is part of winning. Failure is part of winning. And if you have not gone through some hard times, some
Mm-hmm.
difficult times, you won't be able to muster the courage to deal with challenges and
That's true.
difficulties.
That is true.
Now, when I got into medical school, I faced a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the challenge? So I was fortunate enough not to. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have to work so hard
Mm-hmm.
in order to pass in school,
Mm-hmm.
in elementary school, in high school. I was lucky, and I had the same attitude when I got into medical school. And medical school quickly showed me that, hey, mister, you need to pull up your pants.
Mm-hmm.
There's work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that helped me was that it was clear to me
Mm-hmm.
that there could only be one outcome. Sometimes it has to be clear to you that there can only be one outcome.
Mm-hmm.
The only outcome was that I was going to leave that school as a medical doctor. There was no other option.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that was clear,
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons that made that clear to me was that there was just no way I could come back to tell my dad, say, hey, dad, you know what? This medicine thing, I don't think it's for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can do this anymore. There was just no way I could have that conversation with my father. There was no way.
That would be like big
There
problem.
was no way. Daddy, I'm not doing it anymore. I've changed my mind. It's too hard, blah, blah, blah.
It's not like these days that the kids will
Exactly.
just come up and say whatever they want to say.
There is no way I could have come back to tell that man that. But also, I'd also been raised in an environment that prepared me to address challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and also that discouraged me from quitting easily.
Mm-hmm.
We have to find ways to create more resolve
Mm.
as individuals,
Mm.
more grit,
Mm-hmm.
Grit, grit.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anybody there and you're raising kids, I'll recommend a book for you. It's titled Grit. By the way, I don't get any royalties for this, but it's just a fascinating book. A fascinating book. The book is Grit by Angela Duckworth. Grit by Angela Duckworth. An amazing book.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks to the importance of grit in the lives of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Grit is that courage, that determination, that grind to push through,
Mm-hmm.
even when things are difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, as I was saying, telling you about medical school, I had to now study more.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget in second year of medical school, it was the first time I ever failed anything. We had a physiology test, just a regular physiology test, and I think I was a little bit casual about it. And then I failed the test. I'd never failed anything. I'd never failed anything in my life. I was angry. I was shocked. I was embarrassed. My ego was bruised. But it was a wake-up call for me that this is not going to be business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
For me to get this thing done, I have to buckle up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I needed to do was to read more.
Mm.
I needed to read more. And so, and you know, and medicine, you can't crash. You can't just say, oh, we have an exam coming up and then I'm just going to crash it. It's not possible. There's just too much material to learn. You need to know the material.
Mm-hmm.
When you see someone pass through medical school, know that they went through fire. They went through fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's part of why it gets the respect it does, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Mm.
And perhaps not many people can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe many of us can do it if
Mm-hmm.
we
put
our minds to it,
Mm-hmm.
accept the difficulty that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, so initially I would study for maybe 30 minutes, half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much more material
Mm-hmm.
to do. So one of the secrets, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is really the people you have around you.
Mm.
The people you have around you are so critical.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Very important.
they are so critical.
Mm-hmm.
So I had these two friends around me. Hmm. The first was Ikena Idabo. And the second one was Akpoviri Sopo.
Mm.
My two closest friends. I paused because they passed away.
Wow.
On the 12th of December. The 12th of December 1996. They passed away in a car accident.
Wow.
Those two guys I will forever carry in my heart. They showed me how to read for longer. And I used them to pace myself and forced myself every time I went to class to study. I would sit down, I would read for a minimum of 3 hours at a time by following their example.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually watched them die. And I believe that was one of the greatest turning points of my life.
Mm.
That I saw the other side of life. I was a young man I was still in my 20s or, at that time. And I was actually very fortunate because I would have died with them.
Mm.
That's a story for another day. But that experience
Mm-hmm.
shook my world to its core.
Mm.
But to the point about giving up challenges and all that, it's expected. It's expected that there'll be difficulties. It's expected.
Mm.
You should expect problems.
Mm.
It's part of the design.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that was saying this. He said something about Murphy's law, that if there's something that can go wrong, it will go wrong, something of that sort. But the point is that there will be problems. It's part of the design.
Mm.
There will be difficulties. It's part of the design.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to have our problem muscle.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be building problem muscle.
Mm-hmm.
We need to give our children opportunities to
Mm.
deal with problems,
Mm.
deal with challenges, deal with failure. It's part of the story.
Yeah.
And that's how we build resilience. That's how we build grit.
Yes.
That don't just say that it's too hard,
Mm.
so I can't do it. I don't say this because it's easy,
Mm-hmm.
but I say it because there's no other way.
Mm-hmm. You know, being a speaker, I I believe that in every man's journey, you know, when you have a really good clarity of where you're going, you know, and you understand the race, you understand the journey,
Mm.
you know, it's easy, like it becomes easier for you, you know, to overcome any obstacle. It helps you because I feel that people struggle because they don't have clarity.
Mm.
People struggle, people give up because even what they're getting in, they don't even know. You know, it's a different thing when you follow others, and it's a different thing when you understand what you're doing. You understand the race, you understand the mission, you understand the purpose. You know, when you understand it, there's no how even though there's challenges, even though there's obstacles, even though there are things to come, you patch yourself up like this, that it's okay, I'm gonna
Let's
get through
get up
it.
and go.
I'm gonna get you. But I feel that with the people that I've seen, and then it's just a struggle that people do not have a strong clarity of where they're going because they lack understanding, they lack the vision, so they don't know. So it's easy for them to say, I can't continue, I cannot do this, you know. Yeah, that's what I feel.
You're absolutely right. And that's why one of the things I said was that if purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Hmm.
And I also said that purpose creates passion.
Hmm.
The other thing that we struggle with,
Hmm.
I believe, is identity.
Hmm.
All of us know about the popular story about identity theft.
Hmm.
Someone took your name and they used it somewhere, took your number, your social insurance or social security number, stole your identity for something. I believe that there's a bigger identity theft,
Hmm.
which really is a crisis.
Hmm.
Identity theft. And what do
Hmm.
I mean by that? In that, who are you?
Hmm.
Who are you as a human being? Who are you? And when I say who are you, that question for me is independent of
Hmm.
your position,
Hmm.
your possessions,
Hmm.
or your power.
Hmm.
Who are you as a person?
Hmm.
It's important to understand who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
For me, I believe that we are all the same.
Hmm.
And what do I mean by the same? Imagine a baby born today, a newborn baby,
Hmm.
boy or girl,
Hmm.
the same chromosomes, hmm?
Hmm.
Same brain,
Hmm.
same organs,
Hmm.
the same,
Hmm.
born the same.
Hmm.
And then life starts.
Hmm.
The core of
Excuse
that
me.
child as a baby,
Hmm.
it's a uniform thing.
Hmm.
The value of the
Hmm.
life of
Hmm.
that baby
Hmm.
is uniform.
Hmm.
Whether you're born in Nigeria, whether you're born in Sri Lanka, whether you're born in Canada,
Hmm.
wherever you're born,
Hmm.
your core essence and value as a human being is the same.
Yes.
Now, all men are the same. The only things that make us appear different are our opportunities and our fortunes. For example, you're looking at a lucky guy. A lucky guy born to solid, well-adjusted, intentional, resourceful parents who, as they say in Nigeria, they packaged me. They packaged me. I did not choose my parents. For you to change my life, all you needed to do was change my parents. An alcoholic, absent father, single mom, struggling with one low minimum wage dead-end job, struggling, 4 kids, three or 4 different fathers, and my story is different. Right there and then. But the point is that the core essence of that human being remains there.
Yeah.
That if we take a child and we change the situation of the child, for example, in pediatrics, one of the things we talk about pediatric research, there's something we called ACE, adverse childhood experiences. Adverse childhood experiences, just as the description gives, they change. Those experiences affect the child, and then there's also another thing we call HOPE, HOPA. It says health outcomes of positive experiences. That you can have positive experiences which negate the negative ones. Now, where I'm going with this is the fact that it is important to know who you are as a person, just as an individual, and how you connect to the rest of humanity. Very important. What is your part in this story? Who are you? When you understand who you are, and then for me, I have strong faith, and I believe that we're all created by God, and that we have a responsibility. Who do you answer to? I answer to my maker. I have a responsibility. I have an assignment. And I don't say this to you, and I don't want to give the impression like I'm holier than thou or anything like that. Like every human being, I'm just a man with different flaws, even some vices as well.
Yeah.
But to the point that you made, the core essence of the truth of who I am and my identity as a person is very clear to me. So that I continue to walk the walk of that identity, that I know who I am. And I am not better than anybody, and no one is better than me. At best, you are different from me. I do not ever want to consider myself better than anyone. The minute I do that is the minute I start to fail. That's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. So I'm saying all of this to say that at the core, many people don't know who they are.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
They don't know who they are. And who you are is just you. Who are you? Not I have this or I have that. Just who are you as a person? Who are you as a person? So, in knowing yourself, which is the foundation, getting to understand how you connect to a bigger reality, it will start to influence how you engage with the world and what you bring to the world and how you see yourself in the world. So you're literally living from inside out. You're living from inside out. Unfortunately, many people don't know who they are.
That's true.
And they're looking outside to find themselves. There are many people living from outside in. And now we have the wonderful social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, da. A lot of confusion, especially for young minds. I call something time and minds. Time and minds. So many people are being robbed of their time and their minds.
That's true.
Time and minds.
I agree.
Especially young people. So that you're looking outside at all sorts of people, looking at people's lives, when you should be looking at yourself.
Yeah.
And then trying to compare yourself to
with
other
others.
people. Looking at someone else's life. I had a tough conversation with a young lady just yesterday. 17-year-old girl. So unhappy. She's depressed. She's anxious. And I asked her why. All the things she told me, she did not tell me anything to justify how sad she felt. Oh, she said she always worries about dying. Okay. Why is that? Okay. Did she see something recently? And it's just something that goes through her mind. And then we now started going deeper. So she's overweight. Okay. She weighs about 220 pounds. Yeah, she weighs about 220 pounds. That was one of her biggest challenges. Okay. Remember, I said she's 17 years old.
Yeah.
And then she said, I'm fat. I'm ugly. And I spent a long time with her trying to connect with her and show her a different truth. Because what she was believing about herself was untrue.
Yeah.
Now, yes, it would be healthy for her to lose weight. But that would be based on a personal choice to improve herself.
Yes.
And improve her health.
Yes.
Not because she's trying to prove anything to anyone.
Yeah. I agree.
Just something she wants to do for herself because it's good. But even while she's trying to lose weight, she needs to love herself. I told her, I said, you need to be kind to yourself. You're not ugly. That's not true.
Wow.
And then guess what? We now looked at. So I have an exercise I do with some of my young folks, because I mentioned about time. So some of them come, oh, they're struggling with time. They're this, that, da. And come to find out, this girl, we're getting deeper into it. There are days that she spends 15 hours on her phone. 15 hours on her phone.
Wow.
What does she spend the most of her time on? YouTube. There were days that she spent 12 hours on YouTube in one day. And I asked her, what do you look at? What do you do on YouTube? Most of the time, she watches other people play video games on YouTube. That is her biggest preoccupation. But meanwhile, she's in grade 12. She'll be going into university in the fall. She wants to study arts and design. How does she have enough time to focus on her own life? And then, interestingly, she's moving to another city for school, and her family, to continue to support her, are planning to move to that city, to be close to her and to be supportive of her. I told her, what are you focusing on? There are so many good things in your life. Those are the things you need to focus on.
Absolutely.
You have a beautiful future ahead of you. You are in a land where there are many opportunities. Yes, there may be some things you need to change about your life. You have a supportive family. You have people who love you. Your needs are met. And I just kept going on and on and on. But the ultimate challenge is that this young lady is losing her identity of who she really is. And so many people losing who they really are.
Yeah. And it's sad, you know.
It is.
And then, you know, to just top it up, I kind of feel that, you know, just like you said, that the environment matters a lot. Because if you're in the right environment, like, you know, the way you think is going to be different. And then if you're in the other way environment, you know, the way you think, you know, the things that you take as casualty, or maybe the things that you take very serious, you know, all those things are going to point, you know, in one's life with the kind of environment that someone associate with and all that. Wow. You know, I'm glad we did this. I'm glad, you know, it's been wonderful. Sincerely speaking,
I must tell you about my blue cap, though.
You're gonna tell me about it. I know for sure. All right. So because we're gonna be rounding up soon, we're running pretty out of time. But you know, we can live without it. You know, because I know it's something that it's so much in your heart. And you know, and I'll give you the floor to talk to us about the foundation and actually what propelled you to, like, you know, to think, you know, I really want to do this. And you know, going back to Nigeria and starting up with it.
Okay, so my blue cap represents for bread for life.
Yes.
Number 4, BREATH, number 4, life, for bread for life. That's the organization that I represent. Started about 15 years ago now, and based on the fact that Nigeria has the second highest infant mortality rate in the world. More than 700 babies die in Nigeria every single day. And myself and a group of well-meaning friends decided that there was something we could do about that we can train healthcare providers on life-saving skills and save the lives of newborn babies, and also equip them with life-saving equipment. In addition, For Bread for Life also runs clinics to help the vulnerable indigent populations. We work in rural areas. We've had opportunity to facilitate open heart surgeries for indigent kids. um, free medical clinics, eye clinics.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been very fortunate to be able to get the support of well meaning individuals,
Mm-hmm.
um, where we are strictly charitable. We try to raise funds from well meaning people, organizations.
Mm-hmm.
We've also had the opportunity to partner with many organizations for this work,
Mm-hmm.
which is very important to us. We have partners across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we've been so excited over the last few years because we now have strong partnerships with the Pediatric Association of Nigeria and the Nigerian Society of Neonatal Medicine, working with amazing physicians, building bridges of collaboration
Amazing.
back home, so as to save lives. And there's still so much to do. We've been able to do some good work, and we're
Mm-hmm.
excited at the prospects of more things to come. And it's one of the greatest gifts of my life personally to be able to work in this capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is no greater privilege than to be able to partner with the Creator to
Mm-hmm.
promote and sustain life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a task that we are committed to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we say we might be small, but our
Mm-hmm.
vision is large.
I like that.
And like some people say, you can do great things from a small place.
Absolutely.
And as I tell my friends as well, say teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
And in working together, and for anyone who is watching this show, check us out. It's forbreathforlife.org. Number four, BREATH. Number four again, life.org. Check us out. We're the real deal, and there's so many opportunities for us to help our people to save lives,
Mm-hmm.
and we're committed to that, and we our doors are open for other people to work with us, to partner with us, so we can change this reality. So thank you.
Wow, amazing. That's very, very wonderful. Just to add up to what he has said, so for each and everyone who is looking to know more about it, it's a very powerful foundation, you know, and they're doing phenomenal things. I'm gonna be honest with you. And if you're out there and then like it's something that just dwell in your heart, and then you want to partner, I think this is something really great that is open to the public, to anyone who actually is ready, like to just be part of something significant like that. So we're gonna post the information below this video. So if it's something that you're interested in, and then also you can as well let us know, and then we're gonna pass the information down to him as well. So please, 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 let's support. It's a very, very great foundation. I've read about it, I've seen the things they've done, I've seen their testimony. So let's rally around, let's support. We don't want anyone, like just because of a little mistakes, or maybe just because of lack of a little knowledge or something, and then these little kids are like, they're just dying and dying and dying, whereas we can make a very great impact in their lives, right? So please, 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 support, and then the information will be below, like I said before. It's been amazing. It's been a very wonderful show that I am super, super happy. I'm excited about. I just want to take the time, before we round up right now, I want to take the time to tell you one more time. I started with that, and I will definitely finish with that. I want to say, Dr. Olumide, thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the ones that you've done. You're such an amazing leader. Like I said, I didn't say it because I just want to say it on the show, but because you're an incredible leader. You're an example, to follow. Your instinct is amazing. Your knowledge is powerful. And I just want to say thank you for being on the show with me tonight. Thank you for sharing your wonderful time with me tonight. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I'm
My
not sure
pleasure.
as I'm as wonderful as you think, but we're only trying our best, and I'm
Mhm.
following the lead of those who have gone ahead of us. And it's been great spending time and sharing insights. And I wish you well as well. I pray that you continue to succeed, and I
Thank you.
also pray that we continue to get better, continue to lift each other up, and that and certainly our best days are yet to come. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So we're going to be running off the show right now. So please, 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 like I said, it's been very, very powerful. Don't be the only one that keeps the information to yourself. Share with your friends, your loved ones. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know the situation that's currently, happening in their life. You don't know. Some will just tell you they are okay. And at the end of the day, they're not okay. They only need someone to just say something to them. So you don't know, maybe probably it's this video that will be an impact in their life. You never know. So please share and share and share. Share with your friends, share with your loved ones, even the ones that you don't like, still share with them because they will know that eventually you still care about them anyways. So please share the video, like it, click on the notification button so you can always get more powerful, powerful, powerful things from the speaker show. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. It's been wonderful. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry that we didn't take questions because I can see the comment section that we've got. See, that's the thing. When we have a great person in our midst, it, we just want to enjoy. We just want to learn. So for everyone who has been able to to drop to drop questions in the comment section, we're gonna pass it round, and then we will answer some of the questions. We'll put it below. So it's been wonderful. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you from staying from the beginning to the end. You guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. So take it to the comment section. Oh my goodness. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. That's all I'm just gonna keep saying. So, if there's anything that you feel that you really, really want him to answer, or maybe there's something that I talked about that you're like, okay, this thing actually have a significant meaning in my life. Please, please, please send an email to the speaker show at gmail.com, and then we're gonna forward it to him, and he's gonna answer you. And then we'll let you know. We can't drop his information anyway. So all right then. So I'm just gonna say have a very wonderful night, each and every one of you, and I will see you next week Friday. I am super excited, and I will be excited again next week Friday. So come and let's have a good time. Until then, have a very wonderful night.
Thank
Bye
you.
everyone. Good night.